Hello and welcome to this special telecast. My name is Vineet Malhotra. You're watching another exciting episode of A Long Story Short, and today we have the pleasure as well as the luxury and the good fortune to have someone really truly amazing. Ganesh Venkataraman, a South Indian superstar, joins us on the show. Ganesh, I know you've been very busy. I've been trying to, in fact, do this with you for a very long time. You took out time from your busy schedule, and here we are chatting up. Thank you so much for that. I wanted to get that out of the way. Secondly, we both have some friends in common. I've been doing some research about you. You took part in Grasim, if I'm not mistaken, in
Glad
2000.
rags. Glad
Glad
rags Mr. India.
you took
Yeah.
part in Glad Rags, which was a huge trend and an accomplishment those days. And then you kicked off your modeling career, and then you made your way into Mumbai. Tell us about those initial days.
So firstly, it's a pleasure talking to you, Vineet. And it's amazing because it's like talking to a friend and going back down memory lane when you're asking me about how I started. Because in lots of interviews, I've almost forgotten that chapter of my life.
Hmm.
And to think I come from a family which has absolutely no bearings with the entertainment industry. My mom's a banker, my dad's a lawyer, and a family full of doctors. I myself studied engineering. I was working in a well-settled software job. Uh, when I realized that I'm actually a creative person and I must pursue something, it's now or never. Certain risks have to be taken when you're 20 and when you're a little bashful, than regret when you're across 40 and you said, I didn't take a chance when I had the opportunity. So it was one of those decisions and a lot of introspection at that time. And those days, I think Glad Rags was a very good opening into the entertainment industry, especially when you had no mentors to tell you, okay, this is the direction you need to go to. So Glad Rags is what I took part in, and obviously I had in college, and we all have these skirmishes with a little bit of ramp shows, or some friend removes a camera and says, "Acha post kar le photo, मैं तेरा portfolio बनाता हूँ," and all that. So all that had already happened, but this was on a professional front. This was the first time. And I think those 30-35 days where they groom you and you have a clear-cut understanding of what the entertainment industry is, that made me realize, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then, as luck and a bit of hard work, all the contests, and they sent me for Mr. World, and all those experiences kind of shaped me. And it was after that I put in my papers at my IT job, and I said, okay, there's no plan B. I'm going to pursue this. And then first it was modeling. Modeling was amazing. Walking the ramp for a lot of designers, doing a lot of ad films. But somewhere after a point of time, I realized that modeling has a very small shelf life, and it was not also intellectually stimulating enough for me, to be honest. And while shooting ad films, right, the concept of telling stories in 30 seconds, right? You have to tell a story in just 30 seconds. That really intrigued me. And that's how my first, I would say I was bitten by the acting bug. And as you know, Mumbai has a lot of places where you can hone your skills. And so I kind of had a round of many different teachers who groomed me. And then television happened, and from television, movies. So that's how my journey has been so far.
Hmm. Was there resistance from many of your family members, especially your parents, who are of the intellectual leaning? कि भाई क्या कर रहे हो ये?
Definitely. I mean, see, I come up from a very humble middle class Tamil family where education is like top priority, right? And I was very good in studies. I was a school topper, I was a college topper, and to change that and from a well settled job, go directly into the entertainment industry where nobody in the family has been, and which has, people look at it with a certain sense of perception. So I didn't go and break the news to them at once. After Mr. India, for almost 1.5 hours, I was balancing my software job along with my modeling assignments. So till it came to a point that I was damn sure. And then I went to my dad and I told him, I just need 1 year. Let me give this a shot. If it doesn't work out, I can always do my MBA or something. That's the only way I can convince them. I can't say, okay, I'm cut out for this and this is what I want to do. They won't take that. And yeah, things worked out very well in that 1 year, and there was no convincing needed after that.
You said that you're not from, the entertainment background. You went to Mumbai. There are dime a dozen people who go to Mumbai every day, and the struggles.
Actually, I didn't go to Mumbai. I was born and raised in Mumbai. So that was
That
yeah,
must have helped you. But
definitely, definitely.
you went into the moviedom kingdom, if I can call it that. You entered that space, which, for the lack of a better word, is animatedly competitive. How did you figure out what to do in order to survive or even enter this space?
Yes, very good question, Vineet. I think you have to be self-taught because you could have a dime a dozen mentors who have been from the entertainment industries, and their experience would be a certain way and they would tell you something, but your experience could be completely unique and different. So in many ways, it helped me that I had nobody from the industry to give me ki ha ye kar le to ye hoga. If you do this, you figure it out this way. So it was all learning the ropes by myself. It's like put somebody in the water and they learn swimming on their own. So it
Hmm.
was that kind of a self-taught mechanism. So when modeling happened, like I said, 1.5 years of modeling, I thought, okay, it's cool, it's breezy. You go, you walk the ramp, you get a paycheck, you come back, you go, you have an ad shoot, and you do that, and you think life is set. But sooner or later, the reality hits you that no, the cricketers are competing with you, movie stars are competing with you,
Hmm.
foreign models are competing with you. So all these realities start sinking, and then you start widening your perspective about life. And also, like I said, I wasn't intellectually stimulated enough, and acting. When you make your forte storytelling, so whether it's an ad or whether you're telling a story in a longer format like in television or a shorter format like a movie, there is so much scope for that, right? So it is a lot of self-education. I think even when you go to classes to hone your skills, I think it's the student who is more involved and does his own kind of, finds his own path. He's the one who shines from the crowd. So you don't become a part of a certain stereotype, which is what I was seeing at that time in Bombay, that everybody was wanting to either ape Salman Khan or Hrithik Roshan or somebody, you know. Nobody was trying to kind of find a unique representation of themselves. So I think that realization was an edge for me.
Hmm. You worked in the small screen also. We'll talk about you moving on to, South Indian cinema. But what kind of struggles did you get to experience while you were trying to, penetrate the acting space in Mumbai? Let's also not forget that nepotism now has become this huge concept after Sushant Singh Rajput. But people who've been trying to get into this space for decades now knew about it and felt it a long time ago.
Very true. It's always been there.
Hmm.
So the struggle is absolutely real because there are so many people, right, who want a shot, whether it's television, whether it's movies, whether it's web series. And the supply is always larger than the demand when it comes to the entertainment industry. And whether it's going through rounds and rounds of auditions, and you face failures almost every day. But it's how you take it. You know, if you take it as a learning, then it's not in a personal zone where you take a failure and you say I'm not good enough. You don't take it that way. You feel my intent, my passion is there, but I need to get the required skill set to be able to be a professional actor or to be able to satisfy what the channel or the movie producer or that this creative team needs. If you look at things with that accurate thinking, then you won't get stuck into this whole thing that I'm not good enough, or there's too much of negative energy or nepotism and opportunities not given to people. So I kind of deviate away from the thinking because that exists in every field, whether you're in a corporate setup, in software, or a steel company or whatever, that is going to exist. My thought process would be, what is the value I am going to get if I play this role? What is the value I'm going to create other than what the writer wrote on the page or what the director expects? And therein lies my USP, right? If I'm going to give the same value which any other actor can give, then after some point, I want to be relevant. I will be replaceable. So, and that is the constant struggle for an actor. Right now, with the advent of technology, with the advent of OTTs coming in, and you have a competition from people making reels or YouTube videos, the quest for always creating value for your audience is at the forefront. So, if that is what in this entire circus that is happening around, if you keep your focus on that, then I think you will always reinvent yourself and keep going ahead.
What was that instance or that particular moment when you felt, that you've broken through into this industry?
Well, when I got my first movie break, so
Congrats.
I was
You feel
doing
that
television.
confident that this is it.
Yeah, because it was a great launch for me. I was doing television in Mumbai. I just finished a show for Star Plus called Antariksh. And I had done a show in the South also. And I was really hooked on to South movies at that time because I felt that South movies had something very relatable. I could relate with the protagonist's struggle. While at that time, Hindi movies were more of larger than life. It was Salman Khan's Wanted was doing big money, and it was about the box office 200 crore, 300 crores. While this, of course, South also has had that. We have Vijay, Ajit, and actors who have movies which are larger than life. But there was also these movies which are coming out, which was very relatable. So it was a good balance here, and I wanted to somehow, break into the Tamil movie industry because that's also my mother tongue, and I've been following it. So Prakash Raj was the producer of my first movie, and the heroine was Trisha, who was a big star over there. And they had come to Mumbai, and they were making a kind of a cross-culture romantic love story of a Sardar boy and a Tamil girl. And that's where I kind of gate crashed into the audition, dressed up like a Sardar. And my director kind of believed me that I am a Sardar who's come down from Bombay. And after 15 minutes of the conversation, I removed my fake beard and gave it to him in his hand. And I said, "Sir, I'm a Tamil guy and I would love to do this role and stuff." So he loved my dedication and he signed me then and there for the movie. So I knew that was a really big break, to get a launch with a big producer like that and opposite a good heroine. And the film became a super duper hit. It was remade in Telugu also, and it was hit in Telugu also. And the next was with Kamal Hassan sir, who is like an institution here down in South. And that was the remake of A Wednesday, which was one of my favorite films in Hindi when I'd watched. And I got to play Jimmy Shergill's role, the encounter cop. So I think that was the time when back to back, because again, one film is, you can easily be a one film wonder, but when back to back your films do well, you feel that, yeah, okay, something's going right for me.
Mhm. Who were your idols, Ganesh, when you were, thinking of becoming an actor? Was there, somebody in particular you wanted to emulate across industries? Doesn't have to be in India, could be Hollywood as well.
Well, not in terms of somebody I would want to emulate, but somebody I would just look up to as an institution of acting was always Amitabh Bachchan, sir. I
Mm,
mean, come on, you can't be an actor and not be in awe of that man. Whether it's his acting, his baritone voice, and anything, you give him comedy, you give him uh, he is phenomenal and he is so relevant today. What I was telling you about, from being the superstar to doing these different quirky characters now, the way he is, kind of, and then hosting a show on TV, and there are so many firsts in his legendary career. So definitely Amitabh sir, and of course. Obviously take a lot of inspiration from actors down south like Kamal sir or Mohanlal sir, who's considered to be one of the finest actors in the country. So there have been so many of them, but beneath it all, the urge to find my true self, my expression, my self-expression was always there, and not to be in awe of any of them so much that subconsciously you try to ape them or copy them or become a replica of them. That was very predominant in me.
mm. You said that, there is a stark difference between, how Bollywood operates and how the South Indian film industry operates. And that difference is palpable now. Even if you look at the last 5 to 7 years, the major hits have come from South India, whereas Bollywood has been struggling. There have been tepid responses to a number of movies, but it's South India which has been ruling the roost when it comes to concepts, when it comes to the figures, the box office smashes. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's very cyclical. I don't think I can generalize it. South there have been times that I've been in awe of the kind of scripts that Bollywood has made, and even to make a commercial blockbuster that works across A, B, C, and foreign audiences, and make 500 crores is not a mean task if they're doing it and doing it consistently. So there's tremendous mutual respect between the two industries. Having said that, I think both the South and the North, they understand their own strengths, and we being Indians, right? We being from a country which is so diverse in its culture, and we've got such an old culture steeped in storytelling. Storytelling has been the prime tool by which we have kind of exchanged ideas. For example, if you take instance of even a Ramayana or a Mahabharata, you can travel across India. You can go to you can go to a Manipur, Meghalaya, and you would get to hear a story, a chapter from Ramayana saying Ram was here, and the story will be completely new to you, but the character of Ram will be the same, right? And then you come down to the south and you hear another chapter. You go up north, you hear. So as a country, we've been a culture also which we've always shared our values through storytelling, through stories. So I find there are so many stories, rich stories that exist in the north. There are so many stories exist in the south. Somewhere, I think South stories always wanted to tell those stories more authentic to them. I mean, if you just talked about how South stories in recent times ruled the roast. I would like to point out about Pushpa and Kantara, because those two subjects are essentially very South Indian, because they were about man versus nature conflict. I mean, you take Kantara, it's about the Bhutakola, which is something so specific to down south. I'm not sure whether anybody in the north before they watched the movie would have been even aware of that culture, right? So telling our stories and telling it authentically and genuinely is what connected with the audience. And same thing with a Pushpa, where it's about the Red Sandalwood Brigade and man versus nature conflict, again in another commercial sense. And both Bahubali and RRR, though they are essentially Indian stories, it is made with a certain box office like a magnum opus style, which will capture the international audience the moment they see it. But Kantara and Pushpa, it's like you get into the story, you get into the world, you get into the character, you connect to the character, and then you start liking the movie. So I think
Mm.
these two experiences is what I was trying to make my case in point. And I personally believe, because we are at that place where people ask these questions, that where do you think the future is? Do you think it's OTT? Do you think it's the large screen viewing experience, or do you think it's television, or do you think it's this personal space? But I'd like to really remind people where it all starts, right? I'd really like to shift from this debate of where does the power lie, which medium, to the power actually lies in the storytelling, right?
Mm.
So even 1,000 years back, it was about telling stories. When our grandmothers used to tell us stories in the room, and it had that impact. And then from that, radio came in, theater plays started, then television came, satellite revolution came, and after that, now OTT revolution has come. So I think platforms keep changing as technology keeps changing, as social context keeps changing, but the power is always in the storytelling. So I would even say that a grandmother saying a Ramayana to four kids, and if she says it, she tells the story in the way the kids love it, it's powerful storytelling. And then you have Adi Purush, which is the same story, which is told with graphics and larger than life, right? So I think the power lies in the storytelling. And I think essentially, if we believe in our stories and if we know how to tell them correctly, I think we can capture audiences.
Mhm. You're absolutely right. There was a movie called 300, which was directed by Zack Snyder. It was made on
Yeah,
a very curtailed budget, but it was an introduction to a new type of storytelling, and it did
correct,
extremely well on the box
correct,
office as well, including a
correct,
movie like Paranormal Activity, which was made in $45,000 but grossed $300 million. Having said that,
correct, correct, correct.
I've spoken to a lot of friends in Bollywood. They often, talk about the work ethic being different in South Indian cinema than the work ethic followed in Bollywood. Do you subscribe to that?
Well, again, when you say Bollywood, I don't think we can talk about only one kind of movie making, because there are movies which are star driven, where I know that there is a lot, like there's been a lot of debate recently about the cost that the entourage of a star costs from his assistant to the driver and stuff.
I was alluding to that.
So yeah, absolutely. So when you come into a movie and there is a certain cost of production, then it should justify the story that you are saying, and ultimately the producer should see some profit at the end of the day. Without a margin, he will not be able to make his next project, right? In the South, there has been a very good work ethic in terms of these many days of shoot. This is the reporting time. This is the location, and actors do adhere to that. I really cannot say firsthand about it in Bollywood because some really good names kind of came out and said, why do I have to pay so much to an assistant or a driver, or why the food has to come from a star hotel? I've not really heard stories like that much in the South. We are very sensitive that the producer should make money at the end of the day, and the project should be feasible. The project should make money, and the entire industry should be healthy. It's not that the actor takes home all the money and the producer is hanging dry. That doesn't really happen much here. So,
Mm. What do you make of you talked about technology, you talked about OTT. What has the OTT space done to the film industry?
well, I think I can see a remarkable change post-COVID because COVID was almost like a catalyst in changing the habits of consumption of the audience,
Very true.
right? And I mean, people got used to see foreign contents. Money Heist was trending, which was in all language. Game of Thrones, which was already trending, was now in Hindi and other languages, and people were consuming it. Spiritual content was trending. People were watching Ramayan because when in an unsure time like that, they needed spiritual bearings. So there's always this debate about does society influence the audience, or so does films influence society, or society influence films? And I think there is no one way. It's not one way traffic. I think as a human living in an environment, we are always transacting with the environment. So both influence each other. So when the common thought process of entire generation of people changes and they want a certain kind of content, then already existing content which was at a lower level, say it was only entertainment specific, will not start working. They will want more experiences, and so the industry will have to adapt to deliver that. So I can see that is happening big time. And not just entertainment business, I think every business has realized that true compassion is about reaching your end user, right? So you have food companies who would probably give fine dining experiences. They no longer say, "Come to my hotel and I will wine and dine you in candlelight." They say, "I'll curate a meal and send it to your home." Same goes for Ola or businesses that transport people. Why should entertainment be any different? I've known actors who would say, I only would want people to watch my movie on the big screen, right? But that has changed. If your
Yeah.
consumer doesn't have the time today to probably he watches one movie on a big screen once in 3 months, you have to respect that. And he still needs his entertainment, right? So how are you going to be relevant and meet that requirement is because we are a service industry. If we are service oriented, we will adapt. But if the stardom goes too much into the head and it gets associated with being seen on the big screen, then that would be the end of the industry or the actor. Um, I think that audiences started experimenting with different formats. So previously you had either the short format, which is 2 hours or 2.5 hours of cinema, and then you had the long format, which is the television. Now there has been the mid format, which is 10 episodes of OTT, the extra short format, which is your reels or YouTube videos. So there's space for everyone, and depending upon how much time a particular audience has or what is the inclination is at that point, there is content. So as a content creator, as an actor, or as a producer, one must be thinking again, like I said, what kind of story I want to tell. I really should believe the story is somewhere entertaining, engaging my audience, and what kind of format gives to the storytelling. Certain stories I have to tell only in 2 hours. There's nothing more to tell beyond that. Certain stories I can tell in 10 episodes. There's so many chapters, so many layers to a character. Certain stories I can keep telling for like 200, 300 episodes, like a serial format. So I think today there is a demand for everything. So the creators have the power also to decide what they want to do, what they want to make of it.
Hmm. Ganesh, as we end our conversation, what's next for you? Are you going to graduate since you are a creative person? You know, your zest in creativity made you leave a technical background and get into the creative arts. What's next for you? Are you going to get into direction? Or, like I have seen a lot of South Indian actors do, perhaps take the political road. Which will it be for you?
Well, I'm no politics for me though, but like I when it dawned upon me post COVID, with the influx of technology and how foreign content was happening, I decided that I'm a storyteller. and I should explore all formats of storytelling. So
Mm.
if I'm hosting a show on TV, I am a storyteller again. I'm kind of engaging the audience in some way, telling a story. Either I'm telling a story about the contestants who are participating, or I'm telling a story about me, or generally connecting with the audience. So that we are in a space where there is so much work for actors today, not only to kind of express their creative potential, but also satisfy audiences. So I am busy doing movies as I was, but I'm also doing web series now. I've also taken television project. I'm hosting events. I am, as a creatively expressive person, I'm doing so much. Writing is something that is interesting. So I'm doing some projects collaboratively as a writer. Right? That really interests me because, like I said, the power is in the storytelling. So how can we make writing more interesting? Is what is exciting me currently. About direction, production is too early. I'll see when I come there.
Well, in the moviedom parlance, you're still very young. You have a lot of time to figure that out, and you truly are, in fact, exploring the creativity part of your personality at a 360-degree angle. I really appreciate Ganesh. You took out the time and spoke with us. I know you keep very busy, but you still took out the time and spoke to a long story short. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best.
It's my pleasure, Vineet, and I love what you do, and sending a lots of love to you and your viewers as well. Keep going. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you so much, Ganesh.